back with comedian David Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. So this is the second last night in Australia. Tomorrow night will be the last, and tomorrow night will be the last gig I'm doing before I leave. So if you're in Sydney and you want to come down and potentially see me bomb, because apparently only 3 people turned up last week because of the rain, and it's been fucking monsoonal rain for the last fucking week here. But if you want to come down, I'll be doing a 10-minute spot. I'm on last actually, so I'll be doing longer than that. I'll be running the fucking light because I'm leaving the next day, and what the fuck are they going to do about it? I'll just stay on until they cut the mic off or play me off with music. Either way, I'm used to both of them. But if you want to come down, just shoot me a message on social media at Boyle Comedy on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, or just come to the fucking show. It's at Wonderland, 24 Bayswater Road, Potts Point, King's Cross, whatever the fuck it is. So come down. I'm leaving the next day. I'll hang out for a bit after the show. If you're a hot girl, I'll sign your titties. If you're a guy, I'll initial your tiny fucking dick. So yeah, we got a confirmation about this flight today. It was meant to be a 1 stopover flight, and it was meant to be like fully catered. It was meant to be like a normal fucking flight. Now they're saying bring as much food as you want to on board because you're getting 1 hot meal, and it's an 18-hour fucking journey. And then we looked through the group photos, and some dudes complaining they received 1 muffin. That was their hot meal. They heated up a fucking muffin and threw it at them. And it was meant to be 1 stop, and now it's 2 stops. 1 stop in Perth and 1 stop in some fucking weird island in Indonesia. It was meant to be a stopover in Jakarta for refueling. Now it's 2 stops and somewhere near the Bermuda Triangle. The island in Indonesia where we're meant to be stopping sounds like it doesn't even have petrol. So I don't know why the fuck we're stopping there, but we're stopping there now. And on top of that, it's full mask, visor. You got to wear it the whole flight. I'm not looking forward to it. Plus a baby and a 4.5-year-old that never shuts the fuck up ever. But I'm ready to leave now. We've been living out of suitcases for the last fucking 2 weeks, and it's starting to wear thin. I can do it by myself fine. It's all the other luggage that starts to become a hassle. And it has not stopped raining here since we got here. Half of Sydney is underwater now. This time last year, it was bushfires. It was only a year ago, the bushfires. The bushfires could have been a decade ago as far as I'm concerned. So it was only last year that a once-in-a-lifetime bushfire event was happening, and now this year a once-in-a-50-year flooding event has happened. God's angry about something at the moment. Anyway, it's Monday, and Mondays are Ask Boyle now. You can just ask me any question you like, and you're starting to jump on board. You weren't that keen at the start, but you're starting to get on board with the Ask Boyle, because I think you now realize the well of knowledge I am. So now I'm receiving a few Ask Boyles. So if you want to ask me a question about absolutely anything, no subject is out of bounds, hit me up on my social medias. I said them before, just use the same ones, or just email me a question to boylecomedy@gmail.com. So this week's Ask Boyle, it's a fucking juicy one this week. So this week's Ask Boyle was sent in by Jen, long-time listener, first-time caller out there in the UK. And Jen's question is, do you think it's possible to have female friends? And in brackets, she's put, if the female is the single one. Well, Jen, I can tell you right now, the brackets don't fucking matter. Here's the long and the short of it, Jen. No, it's not possible. If a guy has a female friend, he wants to fuck her. It might not be on the surface all the time. He might not be overtly trying to fuck you all the time, but it's definitely laying dormant in there. It's down there deep, and it's unshakable. And all it needs to be activated is a couple of drinks and a little game of spin the bottle. That's it. Like, it doesn't even make sense that the guy wouldn't want to fuck a girlfriend of his. Guys want to fuck everyone. So why wouldn't they want to fuck someone they have a good connection with? A friend. Like, even if the guy doesn't want to, even if it goes against all his better judgments, he'll still do it. It's insanity to think he won't. All right, I'll tell you a story then. This will give you a good idea of what I'm talking about. So I had this friend, a girlfriend. We were just friends when I was younger, about 2021. And I really was just happy being friends with her because it came with a few perks. She was the nanny or the au pair, or whatever the fuck they're called. But she was the live-in nanny of the costume designer who worked on the Superman movie. Whenever that came out, that's when it was. So she was here designing the costumes for the Superman movie, and she rented a massive fucking like mansion in Paddington in Sydney, and she would throw parties all the time. So like Kevin Spacey would be at these parties, and Parker Posey and other cunts that I don't know, but all the famous people were there. So I'd hang out there as a young 20-year-old, and there was always a lot of food and there was always a lot of booze at this party. So I would just crash there with this girlfriend who I wasn't even attracted to at all. But I legitimately did like hanging out with her, and I legitimately really loved staying over at that mansion 5 nights a week. And we would share the bed every night I stayed over, and there was no problems with it either. I wasn't fucking leaning over to put my arm over or anything or cop a feel. It was fine. And then one night I was staying over and we were talking about something, and I said, "You look like someone that doesn't enjoy sex." And then she got all like offended and was trying to convince me she does enjoy sex, and I wasn't buying it. And then the only way she could really convince me was to show me. And I was like, I'm not interested. I don't want to do it. And after about 2.5 hours of negotiations, and when I say negotiations, it was like me trying not to do it and her saying it won't affect the friendship. And I'm like, to be honest with you, this house has a lot to do with our friendship as well. So don't move out of this house either. So anyway, we closed the negotiations, and let's just say 3 months later, we weren't very good friends, and I missed that mansion. Girls really underestimate guys' willingness to fuck. I will say this though, as you get a bit older, it gets a bit easier. From the ages of like 12 to about 36, it's pretty much impossible to have a guy-girl friendship without some sort of like sexual attraction or development or interaction. But as you get a little bit older and you all get a little bit fucking uglier and you all get hooked up tight with your own lives and families, like married and kids and shit, then you can transition into like being real friends. Like guys and guys are. You can become one of the lads eventually. Guys will say I have heaps of girlfriends. They're just playing the long game. They still want to fuck you. Don't listen to any of the horse shit guys tell you. I have heaps of girlfriends now that I've never fucked, never hooked up with. But it's not because I didn't want to. It's just because circumstances never allowed it. And now they're great friends. And also, on top of that, it's a play to become friends with a girl as a roundabout way to fucking them eventually. One of my best mates, Shawnee, it was his technique. All through high school, he was chubby, so he would befriend girls, lull them into a false sense of security with him because he laughed at every single one of their jokes over the top for his whole entire life. Fuck, it annoyed me. And then after 6 months of friendship, 8 months, maybe 2-3 years sometimes, he would put in the hard yards. You got to respect it. Then eventually, after a party or something, you come home, you're both drunk, you want to experiment, your guard's down a little bit, then Shawnee's there. And the great thing about Shawnee is, Shawnee would still be your friend afterwards. He's a good bloke like that. Anyway, so the long and the short of it is no. And any guy who says differently is a lying sack of shit that is trying to fuck you. Alright, that is it for tonight. I will see you tomorrow night if you're in Sydney. Tomorrow night being Tuesday the 23rd of March. So if you want to come down, head down to 24 Bayswater Road, Potts Point, King's Cross, whatever the fuck it's called, and see the last gig before I go to India. Alright, that's it for tonight. See you the fuck later.